I don't care what you say. The Giants sitting at 5-1 right now is the biggest surprise in the NFL. With a receiver room that's a little thin and some holes on defense and a trade deadline coming up, should the Giants be buying or selling? Well, to help us figure that out is New York Post Ryan Dunleavy. Ryan, let's get right into this because the Giants, obviously I said they're thin at receiver. They got some holes on defense. Do you think they're going to make a splash before the trade deadline, or do you think they make a few smaller moves here and there to hold on to their draft picks?
I think you're much more likely to see small moves here, Brandon, which is still shocking. I mean, to your point about how they're the most surprising team in the NFL, 6 weeks ago, if you asked me what the Giants' big story at the trade deadline was going to be, I would have told you, do they hold on to Saquon Barkley or do they deal him for draft picks? And now we're talking about the Giants being buyers, albeit bargain hunters, but buyers, not sellers at the NFL trade deadline. That shows you how far they've come. I think what you're going to see is they'll be in the market if a guy with a rookie contract and a couple years of team control becomes available, as sometimes is the case. I named Jerry Jeudy or Chase Claypool, two receivers who would help them, who are guys who could use probably change of sceneries from Denver and Pittsburgh respectively as guys that could fit them. So yeah, I think that's who you're going to look at, Brandon, is guys on rookie contracts who don't cost a lot. The Giants don't have to give up premium draft picks, don't have to mortgage the farm, but Giants are buyers, I think.
Okay, you mentioned two wide receivers in Jerry Jeudy and Chase Claypool, but I mentioned earlier they still got a couple holes that they could patch up on defense. So defensively, who are some of the players out there that you think they could target in a trade?
There's inside linebackers that I think is a spot the Giants could upgrade. Obviously, Jalen Smith is playing a lot. He was a free agent just a couple weeks ago. There's a cornerback in Miami, Noah, and I can't even pronounce his last name, Igimbago, who's a guy who could use a change of scenery. He's a guy the Giants could target. Look, the Giants, Brandon, are starting three guys, I believe it is, who were for practice squad call-ups. Marcus Johnson at receiver, Fabian Moreau at cornerback, and Jalen Smith at linebacker. They've gone from practice squad guys to starters on the Giants. That doesn't happen very often, certainly not for first place teams. So I think the guys you're looking at to improve our spots you're looking at to improve our wide receiver, inside linebacker, cornerback, maybe an offensive lineman. And again, there's been a lot of buzz like, oh, DJ Moore could fit here. Yeah, because he could fit here because his contract is salary small this year and signing bonus heavy. So that is a move that would fit under the Giants salary cap. They only have $3.6 million of salary cap space. That's not a move the Giants are going to make. The Giants are looking for young rookie players who can help them be long-term part of this build.
But to get something, you got to give something. So who are the underperforming players that could likely be traded away from the Giants?
Look, I mean, I think that would start with Kadarius Toney, right? I mean, that's a guy who hasn't done much here. If he was healthy, he could have some trade value, but he's not practicing again today for the Giants, so I don't know how any team could be confident that he's healthy. What you'd probably see is what most draft trades are draft picks for players. I don't believe the Joe Shane will give up premium draft picks, but last year we saw a guy like CJ Henderson, who was a second-year cornerback, traded from the Jaguars to the Panthers. That's a trade that something like the Giants could make. They'd give up a late-round pick. If somebody wanted one of their players, the Giants could do that, but there's not a lot of spots the Giants have depth from, Brandon. And I do know this: they are very wary of breaking up the chemistry of this locker room right now. There's a little magic going on with the Giants beyond the box score, and whether you're bringing in guys or subtracting guys, taking away from the chemistry in that locker room, you know, as a former player, it can be much more detrimental than it is helpful.
And if you look at what Joe Shane inherited, these are good problems for him. So thanks, Ryan, for joining us, my man.
Thanks, Brandon.